gonna go ahead and start tying my thread, wrapping down the body. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead and start by tying in our Coq de Leon as our tail. This is a molted color that I tie the tail for. I'm gonna go ahead and measure that. I don't like my tail to be too long on these Baetis patterns. Just a little smaller than the length of the body. Good, I'm gonna start wrapping this down the bend of that hook. I'm gonna check it, I like it. You know, I'm kind of particular with how I tie my flies. I want it to look really clean. So if I don't like it, I'll go back in and chop it off. All right. So as you see, I've wrapped those up the bend of the hook, and for this fly, I'm gonna leave quite a bit of space for that bead to slide around, because this fly, I'm gonna actually be sliding that bead back. So leave a little bit of space so you have room to slide that bead. So next I'm gonna grab some microtubing in olive brown. Love this material. It's really good for rib on these smaller flies, also for bodies, for midges, and great body for a caddis. So go ahead, slide that under my thread. Now I don't want to leave too much tag, but I am going to leave a little bit of tag because it's a little easier to trim this stuff clean if you leave just a little bit of tag. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that tight as I wrap that down the body to the tail. As you know, mayflies have a real slim body, so we're going to want to just keep that slim profile to mimic that bug as best as we can. So as you can see, I left this pretty decent sized tag because it's a little easier to pull it tight and trim it, and that'll suck that right underneath the thread wraps. Go ahead, do a wrap over that butt. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this tight, and this is gonna become my rib on this fly. Pull this really tight. If you don't, it's gonna lay out and you're not gonna have that nice clean segmentation as you can see we got going on. I did about 5 to 6 wraps here. We really just wanna keep a nice, just get a nice clean rib with space in between. So I tie that off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back. Pull it tight, trim, so you don't have any tag hanging out. All right, now we're gonna tie in our legs, and it's also gonna be our wing case. This is gonna be Vise body quill in olive. I'm a big fan of this material. Again, I use this. It's a little easier to tie for Baetis and mayfly legs because it's more of a cord. It is about 3 different fibers, and so it really makes a nice buggy legs. So now, as you can see, I have quite a bit of room in front of that bead. I'm gonna slide that back. I'm gonna push it with my fingernail to slide that back over that thread dam I made with my material where I tied off, and I'm gonna jump my thread in front of it. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple wraps in front of that bead to secure it. Now I'm gonna grab both of this Vise body quill. I'm gonna pull it over in front of that bead. Tie it in, go ahead, and now you're gonna separate. You can already see this body quill kind of separate, and you can see the three different fibers that make that really nice buggy mayfly leg look. I think it's a little easier, as you know, most Baetis patterns legs consist of fluorofiber, and I just think this is a little easier, a little quicker, and has a little bit of flash, which I really like for my mayfly legs. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my whip finish. Make sure you don't capture any of those legs. Just clean up, nice head. Go ahead, let's trim our thread out. Now before I cut the legs, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna be using Loon UV Clear Fly Fish Thin. I'm just gonna do a little drop on my base, and I'm gonna get my bodkin, grab it, get my light ready, and I'm just gonna do a very slim coat over that wing case and onto the head of the fly. This is gonna be my base epoxy. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little bit of more. I like to take time and put it on my base and use my bodkin because I can be a little bit more direct with where I want to put it. And smooth that out, hit it with my light. Perfect, I got a nice little bubble that's gonna go over that wing case. Now I'm gonna flip my fly upside down and do the same thing just on the bottom. I'm gonna drop it onto that bottom side of the bead. I'm gonna drag it in front onto those thread wraps. I'm gonna hit it with my light to cure it. All right, and we're gonna come in here and trim our legs and we will have a finished fly. I like to stroke all of them back together. And I'm gonna go about midway through the body and cut them so they're even. And then you have these two nice legs. If your cord hasn't separated yet, you can put your fingernail, a little trick I've seen. Put your fingernail on here and just flick it and those legs are gonna splay out really nice. And that is my Emerging Glass Baetis. Yeah, fun pattern, works really well. That glass bead, I think, does a good job of presenting itself as a little air bubble. As these Baetises and these mayflies are emerging. Yeah, fun little pattern. I've done really well on it.